Oh, these lights are always so bright. Man. Hey, welcome back to Working Class Customs YouTube channel. Welcome back once again to Stable B, our favorite place. This week, we are here to talk about the 5 things that I don't like or that I hate, or at least that I feel inconvenience me, really irk me. We're gonna talk about the 5 things that I don't like when a track day organization decides to do these things. So last week, I was talking about the 5 things that I do like, the 5 things I enjoy. A couple of these might kind of mirror those a little bit, but I'm gonna try my best to keep a different list. And I got a pretty good list in my head, so hopefully don't mirror ourselves too much. But while we're here, if you didn't watch last week's video, go check it out. We'll have a link up there. While you're checking out the video that's up there, this channel is great, so click the subscribe button down below, throw a like on the video, and then let me know throughout this video. A lot of this is opinion based. I got my own opinions. You probably have your own opinions, so throw those down in the comments for me. Let me read them. Let me see what you guys think. I got some good feedback on last week's video, so curious to see how you guys feel about the stuff that I don't like as much and whether or not you agree with it. So let's get in the video. Let's get the 5 things out and see what everyone thinks about them. All right, so the first thing we're gonna talk about here, it's not just this, but this is my jacket that I take to the track with me. I also have a pair of pants. I also have a suit. I got a helmet, boots, gloves, all those things. When I wake up in the morning, I go out, make sure my bikes are ready to go. I'm gonna head down to registration. I'm gonna head over to tech. I'm gonna take my bike down to tech. And then after tech, I gotta come back, park the bike, get tire warmers on, and then head down to a rider's meeting. When I go to that rider's meeting, I don't wanna be wearing all my gear, so I don't. But there are some track day organizations in the nation here that require you to get your gear teched. I understand the need for that. Tech is a very touchy subject. There are some places where you do your own tech, you sign a piece of paper and you move on about your day. There's other places where it's a full freaking inspection. If you get to racing, understand that once you're racing, that tech list gets a little bigger. There's more requirements. There's more of an inspection. The inspection gets deeper. So I understand that. For a track day, in my opinion, having safe gear is 100% important. I don't want to negate from that at all. Not having cracks in your helmets, not having rips in your clothes or your suit or your jacket or whatever it might be is all very important, but I don't want to drag all my stuff all the way over there with me. I'm probably going to want to ride the bike over there. I'm not going to put all the gear on just to go to tech. So now I've just got all this stuff all humble jumbled up, or even I've been to racetracks where you're not allowed to ride to tech because the racetrack can't be loud, like noisy, before a certain time. So now you're literally walking your bike with your helmet, your boots, your gloves, your jacket, your pants, or your suit. All of that while trying to walk the bike down there, it just doesn't work that well. So in my opinion, there's a guy that lets you out on track. When you get lined up, there are control riders there are track marshals there, or whatever you want to call it, the flaggers, the corner workers, all these people should have their eyes on everyone, right? It's kind of standard practice when you head out to the field or when you're coming out into hot pit, whatever, you lift your head up so they can make sure that your helmet's all buckled. That's their chance to check everything, in my opinion. In hot pit, I don't think that we need to take all of our gear to tech every time. Now, not every track day that I've been to has done that. In fact, it's only been one, but it just really kind of makes for a heck of a morning to try and figure out how you're gonna get all your stuff down there. You don't wanna put the suit on because you're not ready to do that. You know you're just gonna take it right back off. So now you're just trying to jumbo all this stuff over there. So don't like when I have to take my gear to tech with me. Okay, so the next thing that I'm gonna talk about, number 2 on my list for things that I hate when it comes to track day organizations. I don't really hate them, but they really just kind of make for a not as fun day or not as relaxing day or whatever you want to call it. In the end, we're out there to have some fun, out there to ride motorcycles, safer than on the street, on a racetrack. It is still arguably a non-safe activity, more of a high-risk activity because you're on a motorcycle, you're on a racetrack, you're going high speeds, you got fast braking, all these different things, but in general, safer than the street. That's why we do it. It's great. You're gonna notice a theme that a lot of these things have to do with early in the morning. So the next one is riders meetings. Riders meetings are great. We need those things. We gotta show up, we gotta learn how this track day org does things, and we gotta do the riders meeting, go over the flags, the different things that are required from the racetrack, from the insurance companies. All these people require the track day orgs to do a riders meeting. Got it. Now, you can, I think, tailor those a little bit. So i.e. the advanced guys that have been riding at this specific track with this specific track day org for years, or at least, you know, a year, a season, whatever, have been to the same riders meeting 20, 30, 40 times maybe. They club race here, that they're used to it. Their riders meeting literally can just be, in my opinion, the bare minimum for the insurance company, the bare minimum for the racetrack, whatever minimum legal requirement you're required to do for a riders meeting, get that done out of the way, get them out of there. Because they also usually have the first session of the day. Riders meeting starts at 8, 8:20, 8:30, whatever time you're gonna start it. I've seen that go over before, and advanced group ended up cutting into 5 minutes of their first session. So don't appreciate when you've got long riders meetings that make it so people don't get out to their first session. With that being said, the novice group or relaxed group or C group or whatever it might be, those guys might need a longer riders meeting, right? And they can have more questions and they can have more input and different things like that. So tailoring the riders meeting, breaking it up, get all the stuff out right in the beginning, let A group get out of there, let B group get out of there after maybe they need a little bit more, whatever. But there are a lot of times that I've been places, we do a riders meeting all together. That lasts 10, 15, 20 minutes. That's going over everything. Then we go split off into our groups and we've got another 10 to 20 minutes of riders meeting, which is usually just people repeating everything from the day. And then every single track marshal / coach, what do they call them? Control rider, random person in the group that's ridden here twice before, they all have their input for like, hey, remember it's cold, gotta get your suspension warmed up. Don't be doing wheelies down there. Like, we get it. So doing these long riders meetings where you have a 10 to 20 to 30 minute riders meeting in the beginning, then you split into groups and you have an even longer riders meeting, or just doing a whole giant one that's super freaking long that everyone has to be at is a bit much. And it really just kind of sets your day off not right, because then you're all stressed. You don't have time to go back and chill, because you can wake up in the morning, go down to registration, get back from that, get down to tech, get back from that, get to the riders meeting, get back from that. You want some time to relax. You want some time to get your stuff on, work on your mantra, and relax before you head out on the track for the first time. So try and keep those riders meetings short, sweet, to the point. I think that makes for a better track day. I hate it when they go way too long and I just have to sit there, and I've heard it a bunch of times. I understand the legality of it. I understand there's people that haven't heard it before, but let's split that up a little bit better, or get all the stuff out of the way that everyone has to hear. Let that advanced group go. Let the intermediate group go, maybe, whatever, and then keep the novice group, a C group, bottom group, relaxed group, slow group, new group, whatever you want to call them, group. Keep them there for a little longer if you need to. Keep those riders meetings nice and short. All right, next up on the list, number 3 on the list, we're gonna talk about flags. I love flags. Flags are great. They tell me what's going on the racetrack. You got red flags, green flags, yellow flags, black flags, white flags with red X's, normal white flags, checkered flags, yellow flags with blue stripes, yellow flags with red stripes, yellow flags with purple stripes, yellow flags with black flags with red circles, red and black flags, blue flags. Flags are great. Let's keep the flags to a minimum. For a track day, in my opinion, we don't need 25 different flags. When you have too many flags, it gets really daunting. As a new rider especially, I remember my first track day, they're going through the flags, and I'm like, whoa, that's a big list. I don't remember all of that. So to help negate that in the new riders that come to the track, we want them to come back, we want them to have a good day. Let's keep that list nice and small. So having a red flag, important, right? That gets everyone off the track, gotta have that. Caution flag, the yellow flag, very important. I've seen where we have a caution flag and a blue striped caution flag, and that means there's like metal debris in the track. A caution flag with a red striped caution flag means there's oil in the track. And then a caution flag with a green striped caution stripe flag means there's something else in the track. And they tried to have us all keep all these things straight, and that's just the yellows. And then you have, like I said, it's too many flags, right? So having a caution flag and saying, I think you can use a caution flag for multiple things, that's great. Having a black flag, I understand the difference between a black flag and a meatball. And the issue is that I've seen people kind of mix them up. So I've seen people like black flag means you're messed up, meatball means your bike's messed up. So black flag, come in, meatball, get off the track, get on the grass, make sure your bike's not actively leaking oil, or get offline and look down. If you don't see any oil or smoke, go ahead and come in. Whatever it might be, right? So those two, I get that there's a difference between that, but I would argue still that you could just say black flag, get offline, check yourself. If it's not your bike, come in. If it is your bike, get off the track, right? And that only needs one flag, because either way, you ain't riding anymore. The red flag, 100% need that. Yellow flag, need that. Green flag, arguable whether or not you need it, right? Green means you're good to go. So it's kind of an extra that I would say you don't need, but I can understand why it's there. And I also understand that once you get into club racing, these flags will become more and more important, and if you make it up any further in the line, I understand that. But having just this giant list of flags and they just throw them at you, and it's different from the last org you were with or the next org you're going to, you think you have it down, you get to the next one, they swap the meatball and the normal black flag with you, and then they throw this yellow with the blue on there saying that means there's a chain in the track, which means you have to watch out for it. it becomes a little bit much, and it really kind of irks me a little bit because I can keep track of most of them. I know what most of them are, but for most of them, I'm gonna do the same thing, which is either keep my pace and get, or like come down to 70, 80% pace and get off the track, or slow down in that area. Every time you're throwing a hand up, figure out what's going on the track and then move through, right? No passing under standing yellow, no passing under waving yellow, whatever it might be. So there's already enough rules. Let's not stack these flags up, 20, 30, 40 different flags. It's not that many flags, but I think having like way too many flags for very similar purposes is not super necessary. Like you don't really need a white flag at a track day. A checkered flag brings everyone in. You don't really need a green flag. If there's no flags out, you're good to go. You don't really need a meatball and a black flag. If you get a black flag, come offline, hand up, check yourself. If you're good, come in. If your bike's not good, get off the track, right? We can kind of keep things a little bit nice and simpler. That way, those newer track riders, which I once was, and we all once were, honestly, can see that, well, not can see, but can actually, and understanding what the flags actually mean and not just have this like kind of jumble of colors and flags in their head at the end of the track meeting, sorry, the riders meeting, be like, I only got one and that was green means go. So to negate having that issue where people don't even remember what any of the flags mean because there's too many, keep our flags to a minimum. I think it's a lot better than having way too many flags. All right, so we're at the point in the video where I'm gonna repeat kind of a little bit from last year, but more with a mirror. Last week, or the things that I did like about Track Day Org's video. And once again, I would like to state that all of these are opinions. These are my opinions. I've ridden with many different Track Day Orgs at many different racetracks. I've been all over the US, at least in the Southern Hemisphere and up in the PNW. So I have a little bit of experience. I know I don't have it all. No, I don't club race currently. I'm just a track day junkie. I just enjoy riding my motorcycle at racetracks, opening up a little bit more than you can legally on the road and safely on the road. So this is just my opinion on what I think. But in my humble opinion, I very much dislike when I am forced to ride in the bottom group if it's my first time with that org. You don't know a person's experience, and making someone ride in the very bottom group can severely deter from the day. Now, the safety aspect of it, I 100% understand. And you don't want someone coming in that's never had a track day before, never done a track day, maybe hasn't ever ridden a bike. Everyone comes from different scenarios, and I understand that, but I think there's gotta be a better way to work it. I'm not sure that I have that fully figured out, but if I show up to a track day, I've done 20, 30, 40 different track days in my life. I've been to 12 different racetracks, and I have to ride in the novice group, and then you throw these crazy passing rules at me so I can't even pass people throughout the day, and I can't move up to a bigger group until I get evaluated by an instructor and they personally come and bump me up. It can be a little bit cumbersome, and it can kind of throw off my day and, you know, where am I at? So I understand the need for it. I understand the safety aspect. I understand wanting to make sure everyone starts at the same level and you can't evaluate, and I get wanting to have that control, but I think putting a little bit more faith in people and maybe giving them the option of like, hey, give us your experience, or, you know, like when you buy your ticket, write down your experience. So I buy a novice ticket and I say, I've ridden at these racetracks, I've ridden at these levels at these racetracks, or like, here's a lap time I've done at this racetrack. I want to bother with that because people are just gonna probably mess up or lie about their lap times, maybe if they really care, I don't know. But at least having a list of like, okay, hey, these 5 people said they've ridden before, and so they're normally riding intermediate, or they're normally riding advanced, or whatever it might be. Let's get them evaluated first. Let's get them in a group and bumped up quickly, right? And so if you put that in the ticket and not like the morning of the track day, I think you're more likely to get that out of people, and you can have some happier customers. I would be happier because I put down, yep, hey, I've ridden before, I feel pretty comfortable, perfectly fine. Like I said, I understand the safety aspect, but let's get evaluated a little quicker than someone else. I'm not sitting there all day waiting around like, am I gonna get evaluated or am I not? I also don't want to bug the control riders that often. That's just me. I don't like going and bothering people because I don't like being a bother. So now I'm sitting here back in my pits, all kind of upset. And I understand I could do some things to change that. Once again, these are my opinions. This is how I feel. But I think there could be an easier way to take care of that in the ticket buying process. Or don't worry about it. Just put some stipulations like, hey, if you've never ridden before, we recommend this. If you've ridden before, not that often, we recommend this. If you're an expert freaking racer, we recommend this. Put those recommendations in there. Generally, from the experience that I've had, people either follow them or they don't, and we find out real quickly that this person thought he was really fast and he's not, and he's gonna be okay. We'll get him off track pretty quick. We can usually take care of it. Once again, my opinion, don't force people in groups they don't wanna be in. If you're going to, find a better way to get people evaluated in a more efficient manner. My 5th and final thing that I hate I don't really hate it. Again, none of these are big hates. They're just kind of little gripes and complaints, moans, whatever that I've had throughout my time doing track days. But the fifth thing that I'm gonna talk about is attitude. I'm not that fast. I'm really not. I'm a very medium-paced motorcycle rider out there on the racetrack. Got all these different racetracks. I'm always at new ones, trying to learn my way around them, trying to get faster throughout the day. I'm not that fast. That being said, I've done this a couple times. I'm also a guy. I'm a little cocky, a little stuck up. I think I know what I'm doing well enough. So when I have a control rider or a coach or a member of the track day or who has an also very cocky attitude come talk to me, or I see them talking to someone else and they act like they literally know everything, that kind of throws me off for the day. That's my number 5 thing. It's actually one of the ones that really kind of gets me, is that we're all out there to have fun. And many of us are men, some of us are women. Sometimes the women might be more cocky because they're women doing something that most women don't often do. That's freaking awesome. But we can all be very cocky. We all think we're super freaking fast. We don't really need someone to come out here and just tell us like, you're stupid, you're slow, those lines are terrible, come follow me and you'll guaranteed get faster. Because half the time that coach isn't the fastest guy out there either, right? Unless you're being coached by, I don't know, Josh Herron, Cam Beaubier, Jay Gagne, then by all means, they can be as cocky as they want. But for the rest of us that are just being coached by club racers or other track day junkies or whatever, if the coach is on the same level as the person from I'm just a track day junkie or I'm a club racer, maybe a little bit higher up, they can still have a good attitude and not come out with this super cocky, I know everything, you're gonna follow my lines, you're gonna know this racetrack perfectly. Because I've also seen a little bit of disparity at the same racetrack between 3 or 4 different coaches, right? Everyone sees lines a little different. Everyone's going around a racetrack just a little different. Yeah, there's that perfect racing line, but that's all on a map. That's in theory. And that's if you get your bike at the right speed on that line. If you're going a little bit slower, a different line could be better for you. So there's all these different things that you're learning. That's why we have the coaches. That's why we have the control riders. They're great, having coaching, having all that out there, but having a cocky one that comes in and just tells you that you're messed up and that they know better can definitely set your day off, and in my opinion is gonna breed cockier riders that get back and just sit there and complain and, man, this guy doesn't know anything, he's telling me I suck, blah, 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 and that's gonna lead them to go do something dangerous on the racetrack. So that's my biggest reason for it. At the end of the day, everyone going to a track day that bought tickets to be there as a customer, the customer service aspect has to be there, in my opinion. That's what you're providing is an experience. There's a safety aspect of it. Everyone needs to be on a general race line. I get that, I understand it, but we don't need to be cocky about it, and we don't need to come out and tell all those guys that they just suck and they could be so much faster because of this, or whatever, or, well, I raced here last weekend, so I know everything. I get it, you did. You raced last weekend. You're better than me, you're faster than me, I got it. I knew that coming in. When you make it plainly obvious on your attitude, I'm way less likely to listen to you because you just kind of made me a little upset because I thought I was gonna get some nice friendly coaching and here I am getting an attitude. That's the 5th thing I don't like. Now please understand, these are just some things that I've seen. This isn't every single time. Most of the track days I've been to have actually been awesome. There's been like a tiny one of those maybe, or something kind of wild out there in the blue, but most of them generally are more towards the other list, the 5 things that I enjoyed. So make sure you go check out that video. Track days are great. If you aren't doing track days and you made it all the way through this video, get yourself signed up. If you don't have a bike yet and you made it all the way through this video, go buy a motorcycle. Buy a motorcycle, get yourself signed up for a track day, do a track day, start club racing, make it to Moto America, become the next MotoGP star. That's the ladder that we follow. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll see y'all next week.